What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. And this is a new video today where I'll be covering the behind the scenes look at how I went out creating the Irish coffee cup in a recent video, which is time lapsed. Now this behind the scenes video will be more of a detailed deep dive to how I went out creating it. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first thing we'll open up here is my scene from Plasticity, where this is the finished cup. You know, this is based on an actual cup I have here at home, and it's called an Irish coffee cup, which is actually beautiful to look at, and it's made of glass. And on my YouTube channel, I made a time-lapse video how I designed it, which took about 45 minutes. So here is Plasticity, which is a CAD program made for artists, and it is an absolutely amazing program to use. Now, the way we're about creating the cup is I started off by creating a lot of some profile circles. So example, I'm gonna go ahead real quick and show you the top and the bottom of the cup. So the way this works is I had the actual cup and I took some measurements of it using calipers. So I measured the glass height, which is around 148 millimeters, and then I measured the bottom of the glass, the rim of the rim of the base of the glass on its actual full diameter, which are about 70 millimeters. And then I measured out the height of the handle, the thickness of the handle as well, the top rim of the glass, as well as the internal well of the cup. And then once I was done, I went to the front view and I created a profile curve using splines. So example, I'll do a quick one for you. Hit spline curve. I do apologize for the performance. I'm on an old laptop here, so it's kind of hard to really do anything I need to. So I digress. So I create the center of that curve, then I click it. So I can turn the snapping off, so it's easy to do. So I click this, and I keep clicking until I get the shape I desire. Now, when I created this cup, it was all done freeform. There's no photographs in the background. And so then I stopped here. And then once I stopped here, I then created a new curve. You know, to fill in the rest of them. And that was a challenge in itself, because if I were to do this in one go, you're probably noticing here the extra edges on the cup. It would have been one continuous surface. And my plan was to create the edges for retopology inside of Plasticity, which is unfortunately not possible. Also the cup handle was created by using a same process as the main body of the cup. And by the way, too, I use one curve and then revolve of the entire surface and join them all together. And that same thing done here with the cup handle, which was done using a hand-drawn curve. And that created a flattened square with a 2 millimeter fillet to create the radius edge. So if I were to pick the polygon on here, it won't tell you here, but I promise you it's a pretty. Let's see if it does. I'm just curious about it. If it tell you the actual, yeah, it's just 3.14 millimeters. So that's the edge length. Yeah, I don't remember the exact measurement I used. I did this last week. And I also recorded it too in real time. This actually took about 45 minutes of mostly fixing the profile curves and joining the part together. So this being done, I now need a way to get this ready for, let's say, for an game engine or for a film, because I'm a stickler for clean topology. If this were for ArchViz project, 3D printing, I'd be totally cool with this. But now, of course, we need to actually go ahead and send this to another program. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go to the top arrow here, go to export, and I'm gonna switch to OBJ, and I'm gonna overwrite this because I did it already, but I'll do it again for you and show you the options I needed to do make it work. So right now, so these options here, I needed a way to export the geometry so that it retains some of its curvature. And if I switch to triangles, this is pretty acceptable. If I go to quads, it'll look good as well. And if these options turned on, I can go ahead and I can be cool with it and hit OK. So I'm gonna go ahead and escape because I did this recently, and I'm gonna show you the results. All right, so let's go to Modo now, and I'll show you the cup. So this is the actual model, the actual in-game rendered mesh of the cup. Right now, the polygon count is 4250, which is not bad, but it's a little for. If I were to show this to a game, if I were to show this to a developer right now or at a studio, he'd have a heart attack. You know, hey man, this is too dense, man. You gotta make it lower, and we can do that. You know, but let me show you the other model first. So here's the this is the high-res version. This is this was an STL file that I exported from Plasticity, and as I mentioned earlier, if this were for 3D printing, this would be acceptable. Because usually, of course, mainly I use Plasticity for 3D printing, additive manufacturing, and hard surface design. So things like cups, swords, guns, anything hard surface, we done that program. And I wanted to find a way to get it ready for a game. So right now, this is obviously too dense for a game. I couldn't use this. I couldn't use it anyway. So let's hide this now, and I'm going to show you the other cup I imported. This is the OBJ version, and this version is a 21690, which is still very dense. But if this were for a movie or a film, it'd be acceptable. So I need to reduce the polygon count. In order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit the O key. I'm going to hide the wireframe overlay and set the shading to solid. So for those of you who are not familiar with Modo, this is a program that I use for modeling my game characters, environments, and so forth. So right now, this is a cup here, and on this panel here, this is Modo's Mesh Ops, which is a procedural stack, but doing things like modeling, polygon reduction, arrays, and so forth. And I'm looking for ways to reduce the polygon counts on my meshes. So if I go ahead now and turn on a reducer, they already had, I did this experiment the other day. So I hit the reduce button. It's now at 2712, which is roughly half the polygon count. So let's go back real quick. So I type in 21690. Okay, and then turn on the reducer again. You'll see no change. Now watch the silhouette, which is very important in a game like this, and it's also a nice way to create LODs for your games. So I keep going down. See, you notice how there's no change in the silhouette. So I'm gonna keep going until there is a change. Okay, and let's go one more time. So what I'm doing here is, you notice how it got jagged here. Watch the corner edge again. I'm gonna hit undo. You see how you can now see the edges of the model now. If I go to default, this is it's pretty good actually for reduction. It's pretty gentle. And the whole idea of this is to make sure that we're able to use this model in a game. One process I would do is, if I were to turn this off and I want to create UVs, I'll go in very carefully and pick some of the edges to UV map. But this wasn't good for me. This is good for a static prop, but I want to go a little more. So let's hide this cup for now, and I'm going to show this one. So this model was retopologized, which is a process of building a lower res mesh over a high res version. You know, this is good. This is good for getting a very optimized clean mesh. It makes UV mapping easier, and so forth. So I'll hide this cup again, and what I want to try doing was, I wanted to try removing some polygons in this. So right now, the polygon count right now is 4250. Now, if I were to run this, if I were to put this in the game like Elder Scrolls Skyrim or even Starfield, this might fly, because I think they're using some form of instancing, where I think that's a sort of inventory system where it's like this one cup being instanced indefinitely. While this is great and everything, I want to make sure I can get a polygon count low as possible. So I'm trying something out. So using Modo, I'm gonna try this stack here, where I literally take pick polygons, and then I run the operator. So I'm using polygon reduce again. And sorry about that. For the background's on. I'll go ahead and hit the subject index, and then I'm gonna go in here and pick all the polygons. So I'm gonna go to edges, and then hit Alt L to create the loop, convert selection to polygons. Then I want to grow the selection, and I want to stop. I think I'll stop there at that edge, and then I hit set. And then if I turn it on, what will happen here is 128 polygons. If I go here, polygon reduce, it's not going to be reduced. I'm going to go ahead now and pick 128 again to show you its full strength. And then we go into my half. And now, of course, this is pretty aggressive. We don't do a little gently. Let's go gently here. And actually, it's pretty good. You know, I mean, of course, in most games, you would never see the inside of the cup, but this reduction is acceptable. You know, I mean, but of course, someone could probably tell me I could go a little lower. All right, now let's do the same thing here. If I go ahead now and pick the polygons here from the mirror operator, and then go to mirror, the polygon count is now 4,008, which is okay, but we can go a little more. Let's go for the gold. And notice how to Modo, listen, in Mesh Stack, everything it goes from bottom to the top. So the top operator is this polygon reducer. If I would turn this off and hit mirror, it'll still work, but it might break some areas because it's procedural. It is based on the last known selection. Like right here, it is now broken. I turn this on. So let's go to the next one here. I want to go on the outside of the cup. And using polygons is a nice way to localize an effect. Let's go here, pick all these. Right now I want to preserve the edge of the handle for a minute while I do all this. And the whole idea for this is you want to go gently, do it gently. I'm a stickler for clean topology, and I think it's a nice little way to nice exercise on how to optimize your assets for games. Now, the previous example with the other cup that I did, that would have worked pretty good. You know, I could have exported that as an n-gons, added the edges that I want, triangulate it, and then reduce it again. And it's kind of a messy situation there, but it works. I wonder too. I think they use I wonder what tools they use for doing their polygon crunching. Or better yet, too, nowadays you can use tools like Nanite, and it does it automatically. Let's hit set, and then turn on the reducer again. And of course, it looks terrible. Wait, there we go. Yeah, make sure to turn this on. And right now it's at 1937. So right now it looks pretty good. The silhouette right now is pretty good. Good silhouette. And looks good. But yeah, let's keep going. I'm gonna go ahead now and pick these bottom polygons here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. Because what I want to do later is I want to try to retain some of the detail on this cup. So, like example, the curvature there on the neck of the glass. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead now and reduce the polygon count on this area here. So I'm gonna take these polygons and select them because I want to retain some detail on the bottom. And also too, of course, if I were doing this for real in an actual studio, I'd probably find a better way of doing it. You know, usually you can also take the polygon in the cup, break it, and then create a big giant plane there. Since if it's a static props to sit on a shelf, no one would ever touch it. Okay, so let's go ahead now, go to add operator and hit reduce. And in Modo, what happens in Modo here as well is if you go to selection, you see the operator called select by index. And this is a nice clever way of localizing the effect. So let's go ahead now, set the 400. And the whole point is you want to try to maintain the silhouette as much as possible. Go to 450. Yeah, there we go. Looks pretty good there. And right now it looks pretty good. Looks very, very good here. And also to Modo, there's a feature involving procedural UV mapping, where basically you pick some edges, run the operator, and it will literally unwrap your model for you. Since it's a cup, a static prop that'll be painted later on in Substance Painter, I'll have nothing to worry about as long as the cup looks good in silhouette. So I'm gonna go ahead. If I go ahead now and turn off the wireframe for a minute, this looks pretty good. It's a pretty good silhouette. Looks very, very smooth, and I could work with it. So turn this back on. And what the hell? Let's go ahead and do the handle of this cup, just for kicks. Well, or actually, I'll leave it alone. I think it's pretty good. So go to polygons, pick all the polygons, set by index, hit set, then mirror. And right now the polygon count now is 3314, which is still a little dense, but for the most part it's pretty passable. I could probably reduce the bottom of this cup if I want to. Let's do that. Just for kicks. So I'm gonna go ahead now and pick the polygons on the bottom of the glass. And we can go, it's pretty flat, so there's no real worry about losing any detail. The important thing here is make sure that you have a model that's efficient enough to be used in game. So example, what I do. I went here, 72 polygons. Okay, it's 72. Yeah, 72 polygons. And let's go ahead and hit reduce again. And I wish there's a nice way to tell you how many polygons are selected. So go to index. It's 36 polygons. Well, that's 72 polygons. Put it in 36. And yeah, that looks pretty good. And of course, on the bottom, no one will ever see it. And when it's baked, it'll look really good. So let's go one more time. Go to polygons. Set by index, hit set, and we're gonna go to mirror. And now we have 3154. Not much of a reduction, but it looks really good. And if I wanted to, I can go even further than this. So yeah, so this is a nice little way in triangulate for the hell of it. So yeah, this is pretty good actually. So if I were to go through now and just unhide the other coffee cup, this looks pretty good. It looks passable, and it would work for baking and so forth. And of course, if I go ahead now, it's just for comparison's sake, go to solid shader mode, turn off the wireframe, and set the cup side by side. You won't know. I don't think you can tell the difference between the two. Let's give a second and move this aside, because I'm using plasticity and Modo together. So it's kind of a interesting experiment. Let's go ahead and put my side by side. Okay, so this one here is the OBJ from plasticity. This is the STL file, and this is the cup I apologized and cleaned. So if I go ahead now and set the, so right now, if I did the silhouette and go to front view, from far away, you can't tell the difference between the three. You know, unless you're really trained on how to do all the visually trained. If I were to put these three cups side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. And that's the whole idea of having your models optimized for games. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this little video. I had fun making it, making this cup, and I'm looking forward to doing more projects involved where I design models from random items in my house and put them in CAD and show how it can be done in game. So hope you guys had a good time watching this and enjoyed this video. Please feel free to see my other videos of content where I show games, art, and design. So until next time, I'm Kashif from KR Graphics, and I bid you a farewell and have an awesome day. Thank you.